Hello, so today I'm going to give you a quick overview of the progress done to the wireframes. There's going to be two specific sections that I want to spend most of the time explaining, but before we get to that point, I want to just quickly overview the changes made since we spoke last time. We discussed about, we originally had over here a column for quote status, and we removed that because quote status is going to be the same as project status. Since we removed that column, we added the priority status here, and that way you have a complete overview of how important it is, the target date, how important it is, the priority, and also the project status. We also initially had over here the option to archive, which we remove as well. All right, and yes, so over here we combined the tags and other things with my company. We have the imports, the quotes, and the quote tags, quote rows and tags. So everything is going to be under my company. That way we can keep this drop down over here much leaner, as opposed to having those some menus over there. So whenever I click on my company, then I can manage everything related to that. I am not working on these wireframes yet because this one it's pretty straightforward. It's going to be following the same UI that we're going to be defining for the project, for the creation of the quote. And so we have the dashboard. Yep. So now for the creating of the project, here we remove the quote status, and then we change for the priority as well. So that way, if I click, I create a new quote, start, and then save, everything's gonna be already added there. So we're gonna be able to have more accountable because we have the target date, the priority, and the status of the project. So let's start a new one. Okay. In general, everything is pretty much the same. This one over here, the scope of types. Let me see if we go over here. Yes, I'm still here. On the definition, scope of labor, it's not types. Scope of labor. So we have a selection of list, and I can select there, but what if I don't find it there? So the option that I have, if I don't see it there, it's going to be to go back to the quote tags and create a new one, and that one was for the scope. So we create a new scope, we create it, we save it, and then we go back and continue. I need to find it and then be able to add it over there. As you can see, whenever I needed to add something quick, I needed to exit that page, do something else, and then come back, find the spot, and continue. In order to avoid that, we did something like this. So here are the tags. When you do the add, you can see the complete list. So you no longer have to search through this window, scroll up and down. If my mind it's on just focus on selecting these tags, then everything else is irrelevant for me at that moment in time. So that's why I think it is safe that if I am selecting this, we can just go ahead and do it like that. We have already a similar functionality. For example, when you go to projects over here, if I create a new one, you see how everything gets blocked out. So it's a similar process. Now I'm focusing just on that. So let me cancel that. Okay, so we're gonna add a tag. We can see which ones are there. We can search, we can sort here. This is also pretty, I think, very useful. I can sort in descending or ascending order. I can search. And if I don't see it there, then I just create a new one. Save. Because I am already doing it for the scope, then it's gonna know that it's gonna be this tag over here, this scope. So we don't even need to ask which one it is. So we already know. If for the scope, create a new tag, just give me the name, save. I can select it now and move forward. So everything is within the same page, and we remove everything that is not necessarily useful for the user at the moment. Okay, that's the new one. So we can do similar things to populate all these different roles whenever it's needed. I mean, the user can also, let me cancel this. The user at any time can go to my company and create them from here, but they also have the option just to do it from the quote without having to exit this process. Now the main key functionality over here is going to be this part. The procurement, we have the section there. I did not complete that because I'm waiting. We're going to be using the same concept, the same functionality as project. So I want to first define the project, make sure that everything's going to be working fine, and then we can apply the same approach to procurement. So for now in project, here it is. Okay, couple of things. In this section, I had a couple of problems. I was getting confused. Like, let me go back here to project. This part, it became evident that those 3 lines that I can drag, that's fine. But then I wasn't sure what areas are editable or not. For example, I click here, I needed to click there. First, I didn't have no idea how to change that, and that wasn't even possible. Then I saw the time, I want to add more time, I cannot do it. I click here, I cannot do it. But then I spoke with Jonathan and he told me, oh, you have to click specifically on the tasks, not on faces. And it's going to be on the number, not on the hours, not on the letters. So I need to know that information ahead of time, and I don't know anything about it. So in order to avoid that confusion, what is clickable, what is form, what is not, so I made it very clear, at least on the wireframe. Remember, this is not the final design, this is not UI, it's more about functionalities. But here it is clear that this is a form and this is a change, that's something that you can select, and this one is not. So now it's become very clear what's clickable, what's a form, what can be input by the user or not. You can see that I added this drop down over here. It's because, again, this was a little bit confusing to me. I didn't know that it's clickable. And then Jonathan explained to me that whenever you have the blue bracket, then you can click on and off between task and face. But if that's the case, then, and we already have this name over here, so why we don't define it as a task or a face, and then let's change the name. So here I can change this from a face to a task, or a task to a face, and then change the name. If it's not editable, then we disable that drop down. But at least it's clear that there is an option for the user that they can click on it. And now for the search. So the main problem that, no, not the main problem, but something that I was trying to resolve, it's to make it more simple to understand. First, I see so many options in here that I need to be aware of, like contains text. It sounds very technical, but then I figure out that's just a search. These icons over here, I needed to hover over them to understand. Then if I need to search, I don't know if I should search for Project Science Library or the ConnectWise, and then I need to search on both. And then how do I know which one it is the one that I want to use? So I wanted to combine that. I spoke with Jonathan about it, and he said that yes, that is a possibility. So that's why on here we only have project search, and that's it combined. We have recommendations on a separate tab. We kept that separate because recommendations, I am not searching. If it's recommendations, the system is gonna see the definition and about this project, and it's gonna recommend me based on previous projects which phases or tasks are gonna be might be useful for me. So when I click on recommendations, I don't search. I see what is being recommended. So that's why we kept those two separation. I'm not sure if we're gonna use this for the first phase once we release. I put a new feature because I understand that we're still developing the coding for that, the programming for that to work properly. But that's separate. Okay, so all these options, the results type, the contains, all that, it's a lot of information to somebody new like me. So I wanted just a simple search, and then we can just give them all the results. But if I am more experienced user, I can see more options by clicking here. So now I can dictate the search sources, which it's going to be Project Science Library or ConnectWise, or if there's a third or fourth option, we don't need to create separate tabs. We can add more options, and as a default, everything's going to be selected. So whenever we do a search, we search on all the options and we search all the result types. And if tags, it's going to be none. But then once I become more experienced user, then I can select no, only search for Project Science Library, or only search from the ConnectWise information. Okay, so that way we have a good clean first impression for new users, but we also accommodate for more experienced users that are looking to have more control. But if those people, they're gonna figure out that this is how to do it. If not, for the regular user like me, something basic, even the text that we have there, it's more explicit of what is it that I need to input here. Search for tasks, phrases, or even templates, as opposed to contains text. Like, what is that? Okay, so that is the first impression. You can close if needed or open. Now, I think that because of the width, now we have the full width of the screen. We can have both. Even here, we have a good option of having both. I mean, we have a good size. Now that we've removed this left column, we have more room. So that could be there. When we click search, we get this result. Let me move this over here now. So even though we have those options closed, we still give the user the option to filter the result. Show me the sources from project signs, or show me the source for ConnectWise. So that way it's going to be a filter of the results, and the source it's over here. So it's project signs or ConnectWise. So just show me, I search for everything, but let me see what project signs give me, or let me see what ConnectWise, so I can quickly do it from there. Same with the type. So just show me the quote projects, show me the phases, show me the tickets, the project bundles. I can, as a default, they're all selected, but I can filter that. The more I get used to these filtering options, I'm gonna maybe learn that, hey, the only thing that works for me is gonna be ConnectWise. So if that's the case, I can just use ConnectWise. Come back here. Let me close this. In that case, I use ConnectWise, and what happened to my mouse? It died. Okay, my mouse just went dead. Okay. So the more I use that, then I can use these these options over here. But in the meantime, we just train them little by little that these are options that they can have. Now, this part over here, the problem with that is that I was debating between the draggable part, because this is how I think. For example, let me show you my approach. When I'm gonna create these quotes, I first make a list of all the phases and tickets. That's how my approach is. I create all the phases and tickets, then I arrange the order of the process. I arrange the order here, and then I go one by one and enter the different times. I set the order because I'm assuming that from project to project, the same phase or the same ticket that exists, but it might be different position depending on client's request or availability and different stuff. So that's the systematic approach that was more inclined to do myself. Make a list of all the phases and tickets, boom, 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 arrange them in order, put time to it, then review and go on. So that's why the checkboxes for me was kind of useful. Let me show you over here. So for me, the checkbox approach was more useful because I can quickly check this one, this one, this one. Yes, those are the ones that I want. Then add them all, and then I go ready for the phase 2, which is arranging the order of the ticket and phases as needed. So that's why me personally, I like the checkboxes, because I can select multiple at the same time and then add them all, and then let me figure out the order. But I understand the how user friendliness of the just dragging and dropping, so I wanted to keep both. So here there was my attempt to keep both. That way I have this pattern over here, which it communicating that this is draggable, and we also have the checkbox, so you can drag it, or we have the checkbox. But then that section over here, it becomes too many things going on. Plus, when I have the hierarchy over here, like these tickets are underneath the project, then the checkbox are no longer aligned, which for that case, I went ahead and make this version, and I think this it's a cleaner approach. And that's the one that I have on the wireframes that I sent you. Okay, now if you want to open it, then just click through it and you're gonna see which one. So you can individually select, yes, this is the project that I want, but I don't need this task. This is the project that I want, but I don't need these phases. So I can pick and choose within that same project, and then I can either add selected or just click and drag the whole thing to the left side and put it on the right order. I think that these cover most of the points, how it's going to be used. I'll send you the link. Whenever you have this link, you see whenever you click somewhere and these things kind of highlight, it is to show you what's clickable and what is not. Okay. And close the project. In order to use the menu, you only can do it whenever it's closed. If you have an open project or the search, then that doesn't work. See, it doesn't work. So you need to close it to continue, and that's part of the wireframe. It's not meant to be like that. But I think that covered most of the points. I have some other questions that I'll send you via on the email, on the message itself. Like, for example, do we want to include the times? Is that something that is relevant? Because is it safe to give the user this? Okay, let me step back. Sometimes if we say that a project task or ticket, it's 2 hours, then I'll create a new quote tomorrow. I'll see that this ticket already exists. I don't know how long it's gonna take. I see 2 hours because somebody did it, and then I'm gonna assume it's 2 hours, and I will not do my due diligence. So that's the danger, not the danger, but the drawback of having already the time entered there. Because people get lazy, they go with the easy solution, they don't do the due diligence, they assume that all the tickets with that name, they're always the same, or the phases with that name, it's always the same length of time. So that's why I don't think we should include the time, but you let me know. Also, I wasn't sure about, we need to be more consistent on whatever approach we follow. Like sometimes I see like this one, yeah, it's all the task, then I cannot see anything else. But if I go to a phase or a task over here, a phase of it, I see description and roles assigned. So what should we do here? Should we always include the description of roles? Whatever decision that we make, it should be consistent. So either we do them to them all or to none. But we need to define that. I saw that inconsistency over here. Like here I have task and I cannot see the definition. When I go over here, I click a search, I expand this. So on this case, this phase have the definition, and under that definition you have the tickets. So we can arrange if we need that. I think that we can leave the description. I think that's pretty useful. Now the next question was, should we make them editable within the results? Like for example, these options over here, some of them I was able to modify, the name, or even this option from task to none. Then I have the X, I cannot delete it, but I don't think that we should allow or let the user think that they can modify these results. They can only modify whatever they're building, but the results, it is already saved. So I don't think that we should include an option to be editable, but I put as a question just to make sure that I get your input on that. And I think that pretty much cover everything that I want to discuss. Yep. So you have the options, accounts. From there, go to the dashboard. You can click here. Open a project, close a project, project search, score types, create new, save. Okay, so I think here we cover for the most complex features and how things work. It's very important that we get, this guy over here, it got me thinking that we had a battle going back and forward and what to do, but this is kind of the secret sauce for the project. It's that component over here. And I think that we are able to achieve a good balance for different type of users. For example, Me personally, this is my approach, how I normally think. Give me all the tasks, then I'll arrange the order, and then I put the time on each one, I review, and I'm done. But I understand there's some people that have a different approach. They add the phase, put in the order, enter the time, and then do it again. Phase, arrange, time, and then do it again. And that's how they complete, which is perfectly fine. But we provide that option for both. When you create an option, first we give them the option to more complex or simple, which is good that we are accommodating both type of users. And here we help the novice to use those information. And here we can either give me those if I follow this approach of one at a time. But if I do one by cycle, so I do 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, then they can just do it by dragging and doing it again and that. So I think that we are able to accommodate both type of users. We're able to accommodate expert users, novice users that they don't know about all the control that they have, and much cleaner. So I think that, yeah, let me know your feedback. It's very important. Share with other team members to see how they react, to see if we're missing something. It's very important that we get as much feedback on this process of the wireframing, because once the wireframing is closed, that means that all the functionalities and user flows are defined. Then we go into the mockups, which is just putting colors and the branding part of it. But it's going to follow whatever we define here. So this is the most important part, because this is going to dictate the different screen, the user interface, and the user flows for the entire project. So give it a try. I'll be waiting for your feedbacks. All right. Thank you.